Songs I Wish I Had Sung the First Time Around by Bing Crosby.
Ooh. Some classics.
It's amazing he had time to record an album while not beating his kids.
Opening strong. This might be the most well-known artist we've addressed on the show to date.
Yeah, this seems a little out of character for us to do someone that people will actually
have heard of.
Yeah.
Singing these songs after famous singers who made them a part of our standard popular catalog reminds me somewhat of the coon dog who persisted in the chase long after the quarry had been treed and bagged.
Coon dog.
Yeah, just stay away from that word.
Yep. This is in first person. Purported
Wonderful.
to be written by Bing himself.
Very good.
Yeah.
I almost smell the heavy liquor coming off of the words.
Yeah.
You can almost feel it. You can almost taste the liquor.
He's just running to get his feet sore, his owner said sourly. Well, maybe that's what I'm doing. Certainly I have no hope of embelling these songs, nor do I dream of adding luster to the rich, nostalgic pantheon which already surrounds them. Let's just say it's my way of paying tribute to the people who introduced and popularized them. People who, for one reason or another, are particular favorites of mine. And I'm sure of the world of music lovers.
Is he suffering from a stroke?
Just to be clear, you're talking about Bing Crosby, not Eric Bayne, right?
We do find that run-on sentences that go on for 2 paragraphs is very common on these jackets that we've been reading.
It is indeed. It's either run-on sentences or 3-word sentences. There's no middle ground.
I just feel like I've seen this. A news reporters talk like this, and everyone wears oh, that's the first signs of aphasia.
What year is this from?
Well, since we actually know who Bing Crosby is, we should be able to narrow this down, except I still can't.
And it feels like it's later in his career, obviously, right? It's songs he should have sung the first time around.
There's those signs that your career's completely cracked out, and it's singing the American standards. That's a little weird for Bing because that is sort of his bag to begin with. But, it's American standards, Christmas album, and again, that's another thing that Bing's known for. I can't even figure out when the hell was Bing, because my first introduction to Bing Crosby is they used to, every Christmas time, MTV would play the hell out of that duet with him and David Bowie.
1978 or 83. So
I go 83. 83 is my guess because MTV started in 81.
All right. Yeah, it was MTV
right,
though.
But I need a guess for this album, gentlemen.
Go with 1972.
72. Okay. Brad.
67.
This was recorded and originally released in 1956.
56. Wow. All right.
Because you think it's a continuous line of his success, success. I would love to know when he started and what the ebbs and flows were of Bing's career.
So I think, there's sort of Mariah Carey energy to his career. I could have to do some research to validate that, but you get a Christmas song, and you're gold. You're getting royalties and a paycheck every year. I forget the guy who wrote it, but the guy who wrote the Monster Mash wrote 6 sequels or something to the Monster Mash. Only because, and people ask him, do you hate that song as an artist because it's what you're known for? And he's like, nope, play it every Halloween. He's like,
pays the bills.
Yeah. Really, it seems rather fantastic that special identification should be necessary, linking singers with songs, but maybe for the Sprouts, it might be wise.
Sprouts?
Yeah, I think he's referring to the youth.
I just heard he would call them victims.
We use the term survivor now.
All I know about Bing, White Christmas, singing with Boeing, and beating the crap out of his kids. It's
that's the trifecta. Holy Trinity, baby.
If Frank Sinatra's old blue eyes, then Bing Crosby's old black eyes. Oh, come on.
April Showers, of course, is the song of the immortal Jolson. When My Baby Smiles at Me is Ted Lewis's great song. You know Gene Austin sang a lot of songs that sold 1 million records or more, and this is when there were only 1 million or so phonographs in the land.
In the land.
Rudy Valley broke trail for all us crooners. He took table singing up on the bandstand, and with blazer, megaphone, and a Yale education, pioneered a lot of great hits.
I'm surprised it took that long to mention where he went to school. Someone who went to Yale
Really
likes to pepper that in there.
That section sounded like, are we sure this isn't one of those things where it was translated into another language and then translated back? Just broke trail itself. It's like, that's not what people say.
That's what people
Broke
said.
trail.
I worked with Russ Columbo in 1930 at the Coconut Grove. We were in the Gust Arnheim band together. Talented, fine musician. He was a most attractive and appealing fellow. Prisoner of Love was a very big hit for him. In fact, it was his theme song.
That all could be in a film noir. I want you to reread that from the beginning of that sentence. Imagine you're a gumshoe and you're talking about this guy you knew who got killed. You got a fedora, Tribbley?
Don't tempt me.
Yeah, that's all said right before the dame with legs that go all the way up walks into his office.
I worked with Russ Columbo in 1930. It was at the Coconut Grove. We were in the Gust Arnheim band together. He played violin and sang. I sang and commuted to Agua Caliente. I'm sure if Russ had lived, he would have been a big, big star, but dems the breaks. Talented, fine musician, he was a most attractive and appealing fellow. Prisoner of Love was a big hit for him. In fact, it might have just been his theme song. Is that what you wanted? Yeah, I feel like I smoked.
Yeah, really. There should have been saxophone playing underneath the entire speech.
Ain't Misbehavin' is a kind of joint enterprise. Fats Waller wrote the music anyhow, and certainly it was identified with him, but really no more than with Louis Armstrong, who sang it far and wide. Both great men, great artists. I'd settle for either one myself.
Okay, that's a song I've heard of. I've heard Ain't Misbehaving. That's one that actually has a little current cultural cachet.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I suppose if you ask 10 different people what their favorite recording of Frank Sinatra's, you'd get 10 different replies. The Thin Gin, as I call him, that's gin with a hard G, has been connected with so many great songs and has made so many great records. For my taste, I'd like to go back a bit. When he was with Dorsey. That's Thomas Dorsey, just to be clear, friend of the show. He didn't have the authority or the flexibility that he has now, but he sang simply and with affecting sincerity, This Love of Mine.
Well, first off, real quick, what is everyone's favorite Sinatra song?
And now the end is near.
My Way.
My Way. Thank you.
Yeah, that's life.
All right, The Way You Look Tonight. 3 different answers. Sinatra? Yeah,
well, Bing might be onto something. He purports that if you ask 10 different people, you'll get 10 different answers. So
he says it like it's not a good thing, though.
I like to think of Nat Cole as a real strolling player, never pressing, never seeking for obvious effect, singing like he wanted no applause, cared little whether anyone was listening or not, singing because he liked to sing.
Took the king out of it?
Just Nat Cole. To be clear, he calls Frank Sinatra Thin Gin with a hard G. So, I mean, Bing does what he wants.
Yeah, he's on another level. We can't.
That's like descriptive regicide. Just taking the king out.
Oh, taking the king. Okay, royal side. Yep. I was thinking of other 3-name celebrities that would work if you took out the middle name and how weird they would sound.
Lady Di.
What? No. Neil Harris.
Billy Thornton.
Billy
Thornton.
Oh, that doesn't work. Real Shady.
Robert Jr.
You know, Dean really doesn't have to sing to make it. He's a good comic, good straight man, poofer, exuding charm from every follicle of his tightly ringleted Romanesque noggin. What?
All right, Eric, how much? I'm just curious. How drunk is Bing at this point? Send it home with that in mind.
Sending it home. Looking back on this lineup, I see it's all male and I overlooked the chicks. Well, that's another album, or Dina and Clooney will be furious.
Said chicks?
Yep. Well, he wrote chicks.
And this was written in the 50s?
56.
He invented chicks.
Yeah, apparently he invented chicks. We found the chicks patient zero.